Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I want to share a very interesting news that we got from Warhead, and as you can see, this is the potential return of this mount right here, the reins of the Corcron Werewolf that you were able to get when getting the achievement Head of the Curve for Garrosh, Hellscream in 10 and 25 players back in Mist of Pandaria. And this is something so far that hasn't been confirmed by Blizzard. It has just been added to the database with this time some trading tenders that are linked to the item. As you can see, this is 7,899, which is quite insane. So again, this is absolutely not confirmed yet if this is something that will be added to the game or not. The one reason why maybe this mount might be added back is because we are getting this time running Pandemonium event, and so definitely there's gonna have something happening with Mist of Pandaria. Probably we're gonna see a new way to redo some of the different challenge mode dungeons and to redo some of the things that happened during this expansion. And it would maybe explain why they are adding this mount back, because maybe if you are doing this achievement again during the time running Pandemonium event, you will receive the mount. So then when it comes to tenders that are linked to the item, honestly, I don't know if this is just a mistake. According to Warhead, this is probably just a placeholder. But in my personal opinion, I don't really think it's the case. I think this is a very interesting number, 7,899. My reasoning is that Blizzard might decide to add back some of the unobtainable mounts and maybe also sets simply behind a very high amount of tenders. So for instance, if you really want the Black Potter, they will bring it back for 10,000 tenders. So this is something I do think at some point they will consider. So this is absolutely not sure. Again, this is pure speculation based on what I think they might do in the future and based on this thing right here. Again, as Warhead is saying, maybe it's only a placeholder. Maybe it will be awarded for the monthly reward when you do the time running Pandemonium activities. I really have no clue. But this is just interesting that this mount, again, that has been removed from the game for more than 10 years, now has tenders linked to it. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of discussion on this simply because this is touching the unobtainable items and rewards that people have worked pretty hard to get. I mean, this mount, I don't believe it was really that hard to get, but still, this is something that people got back in Mist of Pandaria, and bringing it back is a little bit weird. Personally, and I know not a lot of you are going to agree with my view on that, but I'm really not in favor in general to bring back this type of items. The only ones I might agree with are the ones that got removed from the game simply for not really interesting reasons. For instance, the revamp of the Cataclysm zones. So this is not really something that, is worth removing some items into the game. But for instance, when we're talking about some prestigious items, for instance, the different challenge mode sets, when we're talking about Gladiator Elite sets, when you're talking about Gladiator PvP mounts and things like that, I don't think this is something that should be brought back at all through any means whatsoever. Simply because if Blizzard starts to bring that back, then it just sends an alarming message of whatever you do in the game, even if you're putting so much effort, just know that at some point we'll bring it back through another mean and people will be able to get it probably way more easily just by doing something completely different. And I think then it removes a little bit this incentive that you have to try and fight for something you really want in the game. So again, for me, I understand why players are a little bit mad at the fact that some really cool rewards are things that unfortunately are not available anymore and that there's not any new ways to get it. But again, I don't really see that as an issue. The real issue is we just need to make sure that Blizzard keeps adding some really interesting rewards that people can now fight for and work towards. I don't understand why people always want the things from the past and feel entitled to getting them. This is just absolutely not the case. You're not entitled to get anything. But with all that being said, for me, there is one way I could see some of these different items and sets brought back, and it's simply to add some recolors. So for instance, here for the reigns of the Korkan Werewolf, just add it different, just make it a different color, and make sure that this is still something that you have to actually fight for. So for instance, I don't know again what is going to be this time running Pandemonium event, but if this is something that requires quite a lot of work, like for instance the Mage Tower, and at the end you can get this mount as a reward, or you can purchase it from the training post, something like that, then I'm fine. But again, just don't add it the way it is, just add a recolor. This is the same thing I said with the challenge mode sets from Mr. Pandaria. There are already plenty of recolor sets that are in the files of Blizzard, and so what they could simply do is add these as some rewards. For instance, Mythic Plus right now, they could create a new challenge mode and reward some of these recolors, or here, for instance, again with this new event. But don't add the original colors back, because this is something that was tied to an event that ended 10 years ago, and it should not be added back. So for me, I really draw a line between things that were simply removed from the game by kind of mistake, or just because, for instance, there was a revamp happening. These type of things are pretty dumb, because players were not aware that these items were going to be removed from the game. And so for me, it makes not a lot of sense. So for instance, you have the Black Proto-Drake from the achievement, the Glory of the Hero Raiders achievement, something like that. This is something that should have not been removed, and Blizzard actually said it. Same with the different mounts from Zul'Gurub. This is something that people were not aware they were going to be gone, and so I think for me, this is a little more tricky, and these cases are maybe a little bit more things that we can work towards adding them back. But things where players knew that there was a deadline, and that they knew what they had to do to get it and they didn't get it in time, I'm sorry, but these things should not be added back into the game. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if, for instance, you would be happy with all these different mounts coming back into the game, all these different edit sets, challenge mode sets, and all these different things. I'm really open to discuss all these different things, even if I have my opinion. I'm really not mad at people thinking a different way. We all have different ways of seeing the game, what's good for the game, not good for the game. So I'm more than happy to discuss that. And yeah, so I'll be back very soon with more guides and more videos. And in the meantime, I wish you all a great weekend. Bye.